have 75 exchanges globally. We're also supported by many of the largest OTC desks in the world, including the folks at Cumberland, which James was just a speaker 2 talks ago. And yes, this is a little bit about us there. And you can see a quick look, as the interest in stablecoins has risen over the past couple months, specifically over the past year, our market cap has grown to over 200 million, and the volumes are steadily picking up as well. And this next slide actually gives a better image of that. So you can see on the left, we have our 30-day averages. So on the left, that chart takes the average of the volumes from the past 30 days, and you can see that that has steadily been increasing. Whereas this last slide looks very choppy. And then also on a monthly basis, we do something like $1.5 billion a month in volumes. These are on exchanges like Binance or Upbit, based here in Korea, and steadily up here as well. And so I figure one of the good ways to talk about stablecoins is to understand where we're coming from and where I would probably think that we are going. Right, so stablecoins prior to 2018 really was just USDT. There were some other stablecoins out there as well, but none of them have really stood the test of time. And so I actually didn't notice this until I started digging in a couple months ago, but Tether actually launched back in October of 2014 on the Bitcoin blockchain, on the Omni protocol. And from there, that's sort of when the relationship with BitNet began, and BitNet's what I do is deposit and withdraw using Tether. And then really from that period from 2015 to 2017, it's kind of quiet. Then in 2017, the crypto industry as a whole starts to take off. And at the end of the year, the Tether market cap is still around only $10 million. A couple short months later, then, they lose their banking relationships, and the market cap shoots up to $55 million, the biggest increase they've ever had. And then by the end of the year, the market cap is at over $1 billion, and this is also when they start to get into a lot of their sort of legal troubles. But I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on the past, when there's a lot of exciting things to look forward to in the future. And so now, where are we now with stablecoins? I've heard a lot of people say that 2018 was probably the quote-unquote year of the stablecoin. And I heard someone say the other day, really any year in which Bitcoin is going down is going to be the year of something else. And so it makes sense that 2018 is the year of the stablecoin. And what were some of the big milestones in 2018? Well, first of all, we launched in the beginning of the year. Also Guy launched as well in December of 2017. Really what I'd like to say though, one of I think the biggest milestones in 2018 was here. In April of 2018, Basis.io, which is formerly known as Basecoin, raised $133 million from investors in the US, some of the most sophisticated, to build an algorithmic stablecoin. And I think what happened there is that you saw teams around the world, as I'll cover in this next slide. There are something like 50+ teams now working on either building or have already shipped a stablecoin, whether that's fiat collateralized, algorithmic, or whatever. And I think what happened was that in April, everybody saw how much money Basis was able to raise, and they said, if we can raise even a quarter of that, we'll be in a pretty good place. And so maybe this is something that we should take a look at. And I'll come back, and now Basis is actually shut down, as you can see in 2018 after working into some issues in the US. And unfortunately, I do think this will be the case for a lot of the stablecoins that are still being developed now, as they realize that, both on the algorithmic side, you have a lot of technical risk when you're building one of these. And on the fiat collateralized side, there's a ton of business development work that goes into really gaining adoption for a stablecoin like this. And you already have an incumbent like Tether that's so well seated. And so I think a lot of teams are maybe misaligned on some of that. So additionally in 2018, we saw 3 other stablecoins in the US launch fiat collateralized: GUSD from Gemini, USDC from Circle and Coinbase, and PAX from Bit, PAX16. DAI also made some expansions on their project. And then really the next big thing we saw was October of 2018. So I remember this day so vividly. I had just moved to Hong Kong, I got out of the meeting, and I had 50 messages on my phone. I had no idea what was going on. I thought something called my family. And it turned out that the price of Tether had just crashed down to about 88 or 85 cents. And for a while, if you've been watching the Tether volumes or Tether price on OTC side, you saw that the price was steadily depegging from the dollar. And I don't know exactly what happened on this day, but from that period of October to now, we've seen massive growth both in our market cap and in our volume, as people are finally beginning to come around to the idea that maybe we need to move to the next level of stablecoins, beyond Tether, beyond what USDT has done thus far. We've also seen some innovative approaches from the exchanges. Huobi recently launched HUSD, which is sort of an aggregator of the four quote-unquote regulated stablecoins in the US. This is TUSD, USDC, GUSD, and PAX. And we saw USDT market cap shrink by over $1 billion. And yeah, so this is a great graph from blockchain.com, and you can find this report on their website. I think it came out in September. But they do a 100-page research dive on stablecoins. And it's pretty amazing. On this map, I think there are 57 teams as of September that were working on building stablecoins or have already built stablecoins. And so, there's three different models of stablecoins for now, at least. There are fiat collateralized stablecoins, there are crypto collateralized stablecoins, and there are algorithmic-backed stablecoins. And I often get questions, about comparing the three and how traders and individuals should make decisions about which to hold. And so, the question I get pretty often is which is the best. And as many of you guess, I'm a bit biased. So you have three models. So TUSD is the best model of a fiat collateralized stablecoin. So this is something that is backed up by some sort of fiat currency, whether that's US dollars, Korean won, or euro. Then there are crypto collateralized currencies, of which MakerDAO is DAI, which is the most prominent. And then there are non-collateralized or algorithmic coins, of which Basis is the one that I had mentioned that raised a lot of money and is now shut down. And there's sort of trade-offs on each of them. On the fiat collateralized side, people think that we are less prone to these sort of black swan events, right? And so if some sort of crazy event happens and the crypto markets tank and the collateral value of one of these tanks, there's a situation where the stablecoin can tank as well. The nice thing about TUSD is that at any time, if the price of TUSD is falling below $1, you are incentivized to come in and buy up as much of it as you possibly can. Because you can always come back to our website and redeem or sort of sell TUSD back to us for $1. If you thought of it like a market maker or OTC desk, we're an OTC desk that's always buying and selling TUSD for $1 through our automated portal. And I won't go into the benefits of that. And so, to the question of which one is the best or which one is the easiest, there is this principle in philosophy called Occam's razor. And I'll read the definition here, but it basically states that the more assumptions you have to make, the more unlikely that the explanation is true. And so when you compare the three stablecoin models, I like to say that TUSD is so simple, a kindergarten can understand. Where that is not the case for the other stablecoins that do involve a lot more technical risk and technical overhead. So, in the case of, so that's basically the case there. With TUSD, it's going to be $1 because it's backed by an equal amount of US dollars in a bank account. So you can always come to us and buy and sell for $1 just through app.trusttoken.com after, of course, passing a KYC payment. And so where are we going for the future of stablecoins? I think one of the big reasons that fiat collateralized stablecoins specifically matter a lot is that they give people anywhere in the world the ability to have a decentralized US bank account in their pocket. Right? So you can imagine, even in here in Korea, if you had Trezor with 10,000 TUSD on it, that's the equivalent of having a US bank account with $10,000. Now, there may still be some difficulties in how you go and actually move that back into US dollars. But assuming that you can pass a KYC AML check, we will always be able to wire the US dollars back out to your corresponding bank. And so I think that this is really, really a kind of profound insight and something that we hope to see people in many countries taking more and more advantage of, especially as we start to integrate more and more mobile wallets for people in sort of these developing nations. The other interesting thing is around automated dividends via smart contracts. And so, especially Korea, Hong Kong, all over Asia, STOs are something that people are spending a lot of time thinking about. And I think one of the difficulties will be, as you want to pay out a dividend, or as you want to, say, pay out a revenue stream to a piece of commercial real estate, there has to be an easy way to be able to pay that out to the token holder. And stablecoins to me seem like the best way to do that, rather than having to say mail an integrated check, as we're building on these new technologies that. And then of course fast, cheap settlements for payments. Right? I think James mentioned 2 talks ago that the quickest way to move money from Asia to Australia would be a general plane with a briefcase of cash. With stablecoins now, you can very quickly, cheaply, and effectively move money from one country to another with, basically instantly. You're just sort of regularly by the speed of the Ethereum network. The other area that I think is going to be really big is this general area of fiat onboarding on crypto exchange. And so actually just, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Binance put out a pretty long blog post detailing how you can use stablecoin for fiat on-ramping onto their exchange. I think you can find it on the website. But basically what they're saying is there are all of this crypto infrastructure, whether it's big exchanges like Binance and BitMEX or Binance, or whether it is, say, a decentralized app, or, say, Oliver, for example, that one of the limits to the growth of these things is that you can't easily move US dollars to trade on or to use on these exchanges. And stablecoins are the easiest, cheapest way now to go from fiat to crypto in a matter of minutes. But beyond that, there are all of these different uses. So store of value I touched on, decentralized apps, fiat onboarding I touched on a little bit, but also just easy accounting purposes, fiat on-ramping. Remittances is clearly a great use case. Bitcoin has always been hailed in that sense, but you always sort of run the risk as well that if you were sending money from the US back to, say, the Philippines, that in the time that it takes to send that BTC to your family, the price could drop by $30. And maybe for us, we're less sensitive to those price swings, but for the remittance use case, that's still a massive tax that we're taking on people. And then lending is where it is as well. We've seen a lot of people now that are accepting collateral in USD at the same rate that they accept collateral for US dollars, and that's very exciting for us. So basically, I'm going to go real quick, how does fiat collateralized stablecoins work? Basically, you come to our website, app.trusttoken.com, pass a KYC AML check because we are still dealing with US dollars in the United States, and then from there you're able to easily send in a bank wire, and then once that hits the account, we'll send TUSD back to your account. On the reverse, it's almost the exact same process, just in the reverse. So you would send TUSD to a smart contract for an address, the TUSD is burned, and then we will send a wire back to your corresponding bank account. And all of this is done with no fees on our end outside of any sort of international bank wire fees. And one of the things we get is how does the price of TUSD stay at $1? Well, anytime the price of TUSD is below $1, like I mentioned, you should come in and buy as much of it as you possibly can, because you'll always be able to come to us and sell it back for $1 US. On reverse, if you see TUSD trading above $1, you should come to our website, buy it from us for $1, and then sell it into the market until the price comes back to $1. You can book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% profit on that. And so this is our Cal account, which I don't actually have a account on it. Thank you to our wonderful PR writer, Stephen Noni. And you can give us a scan, and I'll be hanging around for a bit today, so feel free to connect with me if you have any questions, or let's get TUSD set up in anything you guys are building. Oh, that's my chat. Great.